Hi there, Sandra here from Creating Spain. I've got two card designs for you today, which are very pretty designs, and these are just designed to make people's spirits lift a little. So I've got the front panel of my card here, and I've designed a floral wreath, which you may not be able to pick up too easily on camera, but it looks really, really nice because what I've done is I created an offset which is cut, and then the actual design itself was drawn with a glue pen in the pen holder of my brother's Scan and Cut. When it was done, I picked up some of this metal shop, which is designed for doing a chrome effect on nails as it happens. Dip my finger in that and just rub it over, and it's so very, very fine. It'll pick up all the adhesive. So you end up with a really nice silvery look. You don't have to use this. You could use any powder you like. You could even use foil if you wanted to, but I chose to use the powder and I like the effect. But I want to put some colour on the edges of my panel here. So I've got an alcohol marker in a contrasting colour to my base, and what I'm going to do is use a ruler to put some colour on the edges, just a thin line of colour. All done. So this is the cheats way of making it look as if you have basically put an extra matte on, which I'm not doing. So my base card in this case is this particular one. Now, I've had this card in my stash for an awfully long time. I really didn't quite know what to do with it because it's very pretty, but you can't use it for matting, particularly because you're going to end up obscuring most of it, and it's not actually that easy to use. But I thought, aha, this will look quite nice, because this on here is going to frame the butterfly with a few flowers around it, and I thought that would look really good. Now, you may not believe this, but sometimes I get just a little bit lazy, and today is one of those days. I did have a sentiment cut out that I was going to put on this card, and I decided I didn't like it, and I've left my laptop downstairs and I can't be bothered to go down to find out the sentiment and cut it out. So I looked on my Scan and Cut, and I found this one, which was originally, I think, about 10 centimetres square, or 10 centimetres by 8, or whatever it was. And I've downsized it so that it's about 4.5 centimetres wide, I think. And I cut it out, and I think this one looks really nice. It's cut from silver mirror card, so it goes really nicely with the design around the rim there. And I'm just going to put some glue on the back to stick it on. Now, if you don't want to use glue for the drawing part of it, you can use a metallic pen or a glitter pen, whatever you feel like. Or if you don't want that, you can even use a straightforward plain one, but I think the silver just makes it look really, really nice. You could have used a silver, or I could have used a silver pen. And I think I'm going to put this over in the left corner here, so it doesn't obscure any of that, which is nice. And I'm just going to put the hearts on the top right hand side, and that's the first card done. I think that's come out quite nicely, and I'm very pleased with the result there. Didn't take an awful lot of doing. The thing that took the most was the drawing of the little swirly lines. But it's a very pretty card, and I think most people would like that. So now I'm going to do the second one for you. Now, before I start the next card, I wanted to show you something. This is the front panel. As you can see, very pretty, delicate cutout. Now, the first time I cut this out, it hasn't cut it out perfectly. And probably the reason for that is that I don't have a brand new blade in my machine, and this is quite a delicate cut. But also I had my machine set to a relatively low speed. So I did it again, and I upped the speed, and lo and behold, it's cut perfectly out of this slightly thicker card. Now, virtually every piece of advice that you might read will say, oh, if you have a delicate cut it slowly. It'll be better. Now, I found in all my experience on cutters, and I've been doing this for quite a few years, and I've used different cutters, that isn't actually necessarily the case. Sometimes it can be, but sometimes you want to make it faster. On my silver bullet, for example, I rarely used anything less than full throttle all the time, no matter what I was cutting. It's a bit like if you're using a butter knife to cut steak. If you do it slowly, it's not going to do an awful lot, but if you do it fast, you might get lucky. And that is certainly what I tend to find, that a faster speed works as long as your material is obviously stuck to the mat well enough. If it isn't stuck to the mat and use a fast speed, then it's just going to come off and that's it. But if it's stuck down well and the card is a decent card, a fast speed shouldn't be a death sentence for your cut. So I've got this one, which is one I'm going to use on a card, but I've got this one and it took the machine about 13 minutes to cut this out. Would have been quicker on my bullet, I must admit. But it's not cut absolutely perfectly, but it's cut well enough that I don't really want to throw it out. So, rescue mission. And put this on a piece of scrap paper. I have cut out a circle, because this is a 12cm design. I have cut out a stencil of some, I don't know what the paper is, it's some kind of printing photographic film or something, I don't know. It's in my stash, I've got it, and I have no idea what to use it for normally. So I'm going to use it as a mask. That little bit of red is simply a pen mark, by the way. So I've got a scrap of card here, and I've got to tack it over and over. Now the reason I'm using this glue is because it dries tacky. This is quite a large area to make sure you've got it well covered, and what I don't want to do is find I've got part of it covered, my glue's dried before I got all of it done. So I've got a flat top brush here, and I'm going to use that. I'll hold it over the bristles, and I am going to apply my glue. So shift that out of the way, peel off my mask, put that to one side, and here is my sticky front panel. Now, I do not want to put a load of glue all over that paper, so I am going to fold it in half so I've got a clean side before I put the glitter on here. Now, this is a gorgeous holographic glitter, and I'm hoping this is going to be the saving grace. So that has gone from being a cut that I wasn't unduly happy with to one that I can bear to use, and that can go on a card front quite happily. I will have to leave it to dry. Once it is dried off so that the glue is no longer going to be at all wet, then I will flatten it between some book pages or something to make sure that it doesn't warp. But I'm happy with the result, and it means I don't have to throw it out. For this second card, I'm using the mask again, but this time I'm going to put some ink on the piece that's cut out. So I'm using teal zeal, and in order not to end up actually breaking the pattern up, I am going from the outside to the inside with my brush. So a delicate colour. It's very pretty. Now the reason I wanted, I've got stencil design on there now. The reason I wanted this colour is because my base card is going to be this one. Now as it happened, this design was on the left of my paper. I couldn't do a complete card from it. I will have to use this as a front panel. But then I'm going to put this over the top and then put it onto what is probably going to be a coloured card this time. I have a matching pen, need the other end, and I've got the same sentiment cut out, but I didn't have the correct colour paper or card, so I'm just using the same marker, using a pin to hold it down, and I will just colour in the cutout. As you can see, I did the same trick with this that I did on the other card, and it looks like you have put an extra mat on, but it saves you card and it saves you time. So it's not a bad idea. This particular design isn't something that I would normally use, which is why it's been in my stash for probably about 8 years. But I think on this particular occasion it looks quite nice. It isn't something that I would normally just put on a plain front for a card, so yeah, not the sort of thing I would do. So I will have the same sentiment. I've got a couple of hearts, and I think I might just add a couple of little sparkly bits on this one as well. This is the finished card. I've added some gems on there, and I think this was actually quite good. It's come out quite nicely. I've also done the third one because I thought I might as well. And this one I found some printed paper that I had designed and printed off myself, and it was the wrong size for the project that I was doing, but it was hanging around, and I thought, aha, that can go behind there. That'll provide a bit of interest. And I've moved the sentiment, and I still used the 2 hearts from it. So I think that's come out quite nicely as well. It shows up much better under really bright light because this glitter is absolutely wonderful under artificial lighting. But it's done, and that's 3 cards for today. Now, if you download the file, which is linked in the information box below this video, you will find the design for this pattern here, and you will also find there is another variant on this one where I've included a sentiment which is actually cut as part of the front panel. So that's it. I hope you like those. I will see you again soon. Take care now.